Right now on News 19 at 6, the day after the arrest, what's going on tonight with Occupy Columbia and the orders to leave the State House.
Governor Haley sued. A Republican takes her to court over allegations of violating state ethics laws.
And find out who's making the grade and who's not in this week's restaurant report card. News 19 at 6 starts now.
Now, from the station that's on your side, this is News 19 WLTX.
Well, this is a look at the State House grounds, a live look tonight where things are all quiet this evening, but quite a different story from 24 hours ago. This was the scene as State House Occupy Columbia protesters were arrested after the governor issued a statement saying they had to be out by 6 o'clock. Good evening and thanks for being with us now. I'm J.R. Berry.
And I'm Darcy Strickland. After last night's events, Occupy Columbia protesters were back at the State House this morning. According to the governor's statement, they are allowed to be on the grounds during daylight hours. News
19's Clark Foraker has spent the day out with Occupy Columbia protesters. Clark, what's going on out there now?
Well, guys, right now it seems pretty peaceful. The protesters are chanting a little bit, but no law enforcement action. I want to show you that fence again. It means so much more tonight than it did last night, not only to the 19 people who were arrested there, but also to the people, to one little girl. You won't believe how old she is, and among those who stand tall at this Occupy movement, she stands tall with them.
It's awesome to be here, to be able to be a part of
the 99%.
The 99%, yeah, baby.
As the sights of a season of joy appear on the State House lawn,
police come out.
And what they do?
They put people in jail.
4-year-old Lila Rodriguez is from Aiken, and last night saw a sight she'll never forget.
Put their hands behind their back.
The evening was full of anxiety and strength, reunity, or reinvigoration of solidarity among people.
Catherine Fleming Bruce helped get Occupy supplies off the State House lawn.
I think that's what we're feeling here, is that people are truly committed to what brought folks together here.
This is a true history lesson, you know, and they're going to remember this. They're going to remember standing out here and watching everything that goes on.
And guys, you can see right now, after 6 o'clock, members of the media are out here. Folks are chanting the same mic check that they do. Folks repeating messages back and forth, making sure that they all understand one another. And guys, we've been told that at 7 o'clock, they're going to move from Gervais Street here at the State House, move across the street over into the Vista for a General Assembly meeting they've called. And we've been told tonight that that meeting will be a time for folks to kind of debrief, talk about last night and what their future plans are. But everyone we talked to today, no one said this movement is going away. If anything, the sales have been heightened. They feel invigorated and ready to keep going. Guys, JR, back to you.
All right, Clark, thank you so much. We're going to have a discussion now tonight about what's going on with Occupy Columbia. To my left is Representative Todd Rutherford of Richland County. To my right is political consultant Wesley Donahue. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. You don't think the protesters should be out on the State House grounds. Tell me why.
Because this isn't a campground. This is the South Carolina State House. Our tax dollars go to keep this place beautiful. My office is right beside the State House. I go out there, I see a porta-john, I see sleeping bags, I see tarps, I see toilet paper. It's ridiculous.
You know, and the elitist Republicans would probably find it ridiculous that people have to camp out on the State House grounds in order to make their point. But I think that they have a right no different than anybody else would. And I would support the rights of the Tea Party or anybody else who thinks that their way of redressing government is to go and camp out to make sure that their point gets noticed. You know, I find nothing wrong with it. The governor said that people were urinating in the bushes and they were littering, but arrest them. If you have spent $17,000 watching these people, you should have somebody in mind that did something illegal. Go and arrest them, but don't kick out the whole group because of bad actions of one person.
We're looking at video from last night when 19 protesters were arrested. These people said that they had the right to be there, Todd. They had the right to stay on the State House grounds. The governor says they have that right, but only during daylight hours.
Which is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. I mean, people have always gone to that State House, whether it be daylight or not, whether it be for Republican or Democratic purpose, and they should always have that right. Because the governor doesn't like a group of people and she doesn't want them there after dark. What's so significant about 6 o'clock? Why not midnight? You know, to say they can't spend the night is one thing, but 6 o'clock, what difference does that make?
Wes, we've heard from a lot of people on Facebook telling us, you know what, they think the protesters have the right to be there as well. anytime. And then some people say, well, you know what? Use some common sense here. Leave when the sun goes down.
Yeah, listen, we hear the Democrats talking a lot about free speech today. I love it because they don't say that whenever it's our kids trying to pray in schools or talking about the Constitution, but who cares if Barack Obama is trying to tread on our Constitution daily with things like Obamacare? I'm just excited to see the Democrats finally caring about the Constitution in the United States. It's refreshing, Todd.
You know, the truth is we've always cared about the Constitution, and Democrats just haven't sold this state out the way Nikki Haley did with selling us out to Georgia for that port. And this goes right along those lines. I wonder who paid her to get rid of those protesters, what made her finally get upset after 19 days. They'd been there for this long, hadn't bothered anybody. Why not just let them be?
So you're thinking that all of this is a smokescreen, basically, the protesters to make that headlines instead of some other issues going on.
Our governor has never done anything unless somebody paid her to do it, some outside group. This is no different.
All right, your take on that, Wes?
I mean, I think that's just pure ludicrous. I mean, I honestly am kind of taken aback. I don't know what to say on it. I go to the office every day, and I just see what I think are dirty hippies, all right? That's what they look like. It's ridiculous. Just last week, an autism group had to go out there and get a permit to be out there. There are rules that people need to follow. Be like the autism group. Go out there, get a permit, follow the rules, and you can say what you want when you want.
I think that the difference is the autism group was an actual group. This is just a bunch of people who had the same idea and went out there. It's not an actual group, no collective idea, no, just saying that we are that 99% that is being looked over, and here they are truly being looked over and being kicked off the stage.
Well, let's get to the bottom line here. Is anything going to happen? Is anything going to change in Columbia or in D.C. because of the Occupy movement?
No, you know, I disagree. I think that anytime you bring something to the forefront and suggest that there is a problem, whether it be Occupy or the Tea Party, somebody has to do it. Some group has to do it to tell the moneyed people like Nikki Haley that there is a problem and they need to stop doing what they're doing.
But the difference in the Tea Partiers and the occupiers are all they're doing is complaining and whining. They're not putting forth any solutions. They're not saying we're going to occupy this land until this happens. They have no solutions. They've offered no ideas.
Well, they have no money, and so nobody's listening to their ideas, and that's the bigger problem. This governor only listens to those people with money. That's what she's consistently done, which is why she got DHEC to reverse their decision on what they did with the port in Georgia.
That is a separate matter, but we're going to leave this discussion where we have it. Wesley Donahue, thank you very much. Representative Rutherford, thank you very much. Darcy, we're going to send it back to you.
JR, gentlemen, thank you so much. With the major developments occurring last night with Occupy Columbia, we took a look back from the beginning of the Occupy movement nationwide. Now, September 17th was the first official day of Occupy Wall Street in New York, spurring the many protests across the nation. That includes one right here in the capital city of Columbia. Occupy Columbia officially began their protest at the State House on October 15th with a handful of demonstrators. And then on November 1st, the Occupy Columbia movement hit the road as the group marched to City Hall in support of local businesses. They expressed concern about plans to bring Walmart downtown to the Capital City Stadium site. And then last night, Occupy Columbia was removed from the State House grounds. The governor saying it was due to a lack of respect for that area. Authorities say 19 members of Occupy Columbia were arrested. And then today, across the nation, 2 months after Occupy Wall Street started, protesters took part in a day of action where they attempted to shut down Wall Street. The CBS Evening News will have more on today's protests coming up at the bottom of the hour.
A top Republican donor and critic of the governor's is asking a court now to declare whether she broke ethics laws while a member of the House. The lawsuit filed by former Board of Economic Advisors Chairman John Rainey focuses on the governor's jobs as a fundraiser at Lexington Medical Center and with a Columbia engineering firm. The lawsuit accuses the Republican governor of exploiting her office for personal gain by working as a lobbyist. It also accuses her of failing to disclose information on campaign filings and of not recusing herself from a vote benefiting an employer. Haley spokesman Rob Godfrey responded to the lawsuit today by saying this bogus lawsuit is a transparent political stunt by a disgruntled Republican has-been.
Soldiers, airmen, and their families at Shaw Air Force Base are getting a new shopping center that will offer them everything from car rentals to hunting gear. The $20 million site will help serve the more than 15,000 people stationed at the base. A spokesperson says the addition of the new shops creates close to 50 jobs.
Well, still ahead for you now. It was a good deal cooler out there today, and things are going to get downright cold tonight. Jim's coming back with a look at your family's True View forecast.
From fresh sucked oysters to the fresh catch of the day, seafood lovers are going to love this next place. I'm going to let you know where we are for this week's restaurant report card coming up after the break.